laban ay nakakakaba dahil sa husay ng bawat isa. Sigawan ay yumayanig kapag nag 3 points na. Bawat bayay di patatalo, buong barangay ay suportado. Kahit ano ang mangyari.
After the Pampanga Giant Lanterns scored the second highest point total in a game by any team in the league earlier in our first game, we are back for our second matchup here for our Tuesday triple header dito sa Olivares College Gym in Parañaque City for the live and continuing coverage of the Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League, ang Liga ng Bawat Pilipino. Tay-Tay Teodoro will be up against his former head coach in Coach Buds Reyes of the Bulacan Cuyas. I'm sure this is a schedule that Coach Buds has marked on his calendar as he goes up against his former squad, the Mindoro Tamaraws. Once again, the Bulacan Cuyas versus the Mindoro Tamaraws for the second game of our Tuesday triple header. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Javi Palanya alongside Coach Mike Perez. Coach Mike, Mindoro has been playing well as of late. They won 4 of their last 5 games, but I'd like to focus on Bulacan. Bulacan, it hasn't really been a nice run for them in their last few games, including their last loss to Zamboanga, which they lost by 40 points. What do you think they have to improve on in this game going up against the Tamaraw squad that is really on a good roll?
Yeah, I think they're going to have their hands full today because they're dead last when it comes to the big stats. When I talk about big stats, I mentioned rebounds, second chance points, and points in the paint. I mean, somebody's got to help out on that bigs department, and so if they're preparing for next season, I'm sure getting enough taller guys to help out in the board in the paint action would be a thing in mind para dito kay Coach Buds.
Third member of our broadcast panelist, Ms. Mika Besames. We'll be hearing from her later on. Let's talk about the last game of the Bulacan Cuyas. Again, it was a game against the Zamboanga Master Sardines in which they lost by 40 points. But in the first half, Coach, they were able to keep in step with the squad of Coach Louie Alas.
That's right. And, they was 40, but really just too much of Zamboanga. JC Carandang did his thing. He had 18 points. Joshua Montero had 14. Jan Baltasar had 10 in that game. It was actually a pretty good shooting percentage, but overall just dominant game by Zamboanga, especially on the boards. And, they got out-hustled out there. Minus 27 on offensive rebounds and minus 28 on second chance points, which you kind of expect, especially as you go up against a really tough team in Zamboanga.
Well, it's really difficult to get a win when you only are able to collar 28 rebounds in one game. And I'm sure Coach Buds Reyes will have his hands full against this Mindoro squad, which has been stronger than the team that he handled last year. A mix of veterans and young guns coming in like JJ Caspe and JB De La Cruz, who once again turned in a great performance against the Muntinlupa Cagers in their last game. They won 79-76.
Yeah, it was a hard-fought game, actually. 79-76 comeback. Started out flat and eventually released that 17-point deficit. Much the baskets of JJ Caspe, Brian Meca, and the free throws, including the final minutes. Caspe had 26, JV De La Cruz had 22. 45% field goal shooting on 16 less field goal attempts. Highly efficient from that department. And the rebound spelled the difference, I guess. It was a plus 13 in favor of Mindoro, to which really told them more attempts on that aspect of the game.
And also, Coach, the free throws, they went to the line 35 times, but only converted 19. So partida pa yan para dito sa Mindoro Tamaraos. Let's get the show on the road. Our second game of our Tuesday triple header here at the Olivares College Gym. It's Mindoro versus Bulacan. Let's go to Richard Tampos.
Mindoro on the 2024 Manny Pacquiao's MPBL Season 6 presented by Extreme. We got the starting fives first. The Bulacan Cuyas. Forward number 35, JC Calandang. The other forward number 32, Franco Viernes. Guard number 3, Josh Montero. Starting at guard number 6, Jason Celis. Center number 13, Ken Osicos. The head coach is Buds Reyes, assisted by Joey Dada. Team manager, June Reyes. The team owner is Kuya Jonathan C. Alvarado. Now starting for Mindoro Tamaraos. At forward number 81, Joseph Marquez. Playing center number 23, Jordan Huerto. Forward number 22, Quint Ariar. Starting at guard number 4, JB De La Cruz. Point guard number 12, JJ Caspe. The head coach is J.R. Kawaling, assisted by Jensen Nutel, DJ Marquez, Ricky Alcantara, and Jason Libunao. Team manager, Rafael Joseph Martinez. Team owner is Paula Oriental Mindoro. Honorable Mayor Jennifer
Our starting five of this game brought to you by SportsMax, powered by PlayMax, the official online entertainment partner of the MPBL. Win to the max. We have Joshua Montero and Jason Celis, joined by Ken Osicos, JC Carandang, and Franco Viernes para sa Bulacan Cuyas. On the other side, the Mindoro Tamaraos will be starting with JJ Caspe, JV De La Cruz, Quint Ariar, Joseph Marquez, and Don Huerto is their man in the middle. Hey, thank you so much for joining us for the second game of our Tuesday triple header dito sa Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League, ang Liga ng Bawat Pilipino, or live on MPTV Channel 98 on Signal, Satellite Channel 53 on the Pilipinas Live app, as well as on our Facebook and YouTube channels. This is Javi Paranya, joined by Coach Mike Perez and Miss Mika Abisamis. The opening tip goes out of bounds in favor of the Mindoro Tamaraos. Coach Buds Reyes playing against his former squad, the squad that he coached last year and of course a couple of seasons back.
And this is so much different Mindoro team that we have right now compared to how it started. The way that they started the season, they were highly dependent on Ken Bono, Paul Desiderio, and Tete Tidor. But now, with this new infusion of other guys coming in, it's taken on a different identity.
The combination of veterans, young guns, and of course coming in with a new coaching staff headed by head coach J.R. Kawaling and first assistant coach Jens Nutel, both former FEU Tamaraos. Cuyas were able to force a stop on Mindoro on their first possession. And here, the Tamaraos give up a foul. Wala pang isang minuto nakakalipas dito sa ating unang yugto.
Yeah, and so if Mindoro will continue to pressure the guards early on against dito sa Bulacan, the other guys would really need to step up, because on the big part, definitely that could be a challenge for Bulacan, because one of the good rebounding teams itong Mindoro.
Carandang was short on his first try. JV De La Cruz hitting it to Quint Ariar on a tight spot. Caspe, who is free just a little bit below the free throw line. That's his own rebound. Doro will recycle. Marquez with a hand in his face. That's no good. Ariar the offensive rebound. Once again, the Cuyas experiencing trouble on the glass, and Mindoro makes them pay with 2 extra possessions, resulting in that three-pointer.
Yeah, and one of the transitions that Mindoro has actually made is, faster ball movement as compared to before, because you want to take advantage of the presence of Ken Bono inside and even on the outside. Now, it's really about guys finding open men early in the shot clock.
That's a turnover para sa Bulacan. De La Cruz looks at Coach Jens Nutel to signal the play. Caspe. Trying to assess the defense. This is a zone for the Cuyas. De La Cruz, few inches above the three-point area.
And that 1-3-1 zone has been something that they've used for the most recent games that they've had. Even Quezon fell for that in the first quarter. But, you know, you got to do it consistently if you're going to play that defense.
Fall-away jumper is no good para kay JV De La Cruz. That was a 2-on-1 break that they botched. Celis, elbow
read.
Jumper is money.
Yeah, good read. The minute na he put that ball on the floor, a little hessy, making the defense think na titira na siya, but cross it over to the elbow for that jumper.
I think that's been one of his strengths, coach, his entire career. Being able to stop on a dime to pull up for jumpers. Ito si Jason Celis.
Sobrang deceiving eh, no?
Cuyas forces steal. Montero, seeing that there's no advantage for the Cuyas, pulls it back. Carandang, extra pass. Celis hesitated for a bit. That's 5 straight points for the Bulacan Cuyas, courtesy of Jason Celis.
And you're liking that for Bulacan. Kasi itong Bulacan, pinag-usapan natin kanina, hindi masyado makokontrol ang board niyan. Pero pag nakuha nila, pwede nang takbuhan sa kabila. And the guards have been at strength on their rotation for Coach Buds.
I'm sorry, that wasn't a 3-pointer for Celis, only a 2-pointer. So the score is 4-3. Celis loses it to the aggressive defense of JJ Caspe.
Laking bagay rin nung in-elevate ng laro ni JJ Caspe this season. I mean, pretty much very significant for him.
Kit Arriar broke away from the defense of Viernes on the middle but was unable to capitalize. Carandang pulls back. Montero to Ken Osicos. That's off to the right. Both teams with a seemingly sloppy start. Caspe out to Huerto. Foot on the line. That's an air ball, but nobody boxing out Balong Marquez.
Right now, Mindoro going 2 out of 7 from the field, which is pretty low. And that's something that you need to be working on if you want to improve efficiencies on the field.
Marquez also started last game. He had 6 points, 2 out of 3 from the field para sa Mindoro Tamaraws. Viernes will attempt from the... Tamaraws are ahead by a point. We're now approaching the halfway point of our first quarter. 1-3-1 defense stays here for the Cuyas. Cross-court pass to JJ Caspe. Another one to Balong Marquez. Mindoro shifts that ball around quickly. Marquez misses from downtown. Another offensive rebound para sa Mindoro. Huerto powers his way for those 2 points.
Well, so far, initially, yung 1-3-1 is working for Bulacan. But again, ang depensa kailangan ini-end mo with a defensive rebound. And so if they miss that shot, that's the intent of your defense. You got to control the board defensively.
Joshua Montero able to fish for a foul against Kitariar.
And si Joshua Montero ang primary point guard para dito kay Coach Buds. You expect him to be doing these things aside from leading.
Coach, we talked about the rise of the play of JJ Caspe, JV De La Cruz. What do you see in the potential here para kay Jordan Huerto?
Well, I feel that, you know, the opportunity is also the same for him. I mean, you know, given these final games that they're playing, considering where they're at in terms of the standings, it is pretty much trying to see how much further he can bring his talent to. And, you know, as you build your team for next year, and maybe, who knows, maybe other teams might be looking at him. And so malaking bagay itong mga opportunities na to. Kala JV, even Brian, who just came back, you know, for other teams to look at them.
And so, Coach, the challenge now for Mindoro management, headed by, of course, their team owner, Mayor Jennifer Ina Alegre Cruz, is to keep this score.
Yes, agree.
De La Cruz missing from the outside. Another offensive rebound para sa Mindoro. Arriar is free from the perimeter. Wala yan. Chance to run here for the Cuyas. Carandang forward to Montero, who sees Osicos, fumbles a bit. That's a foul against the Tamaraws. I'm sorry, that's not Osicos. That's Pastrana, who got the bounce pass galing kay Joshua Montero.
Yeah, and now that you mentioned Osicos, pretty much yun na yung pinaka-rotation nila on the bigs. Pastranas, Osicos, and Carandang.
This free throw is brought to you by Extreme Appliances. Ang subok at kompleto ang appliance brand ng Pilipinas. Pastrana, missing on his first free throw. Only played a minute and 45 seconds in that game against Zamboanga. And getting some early burn here in this game para kay Coach Buds Reyes.
Kapag kung titingnan mo yung if height is going to be a key indicator, this seems to be like small ball para dito sa Bulacan Kuyas because you haven't seen Ken Bono yet play in this game, but you see the size difference already.
De La Cruz out of the screens. De La Cruz, one dribble pull-up is good.
Yeah, that is one good way to try and attack that zone. First, try and fill that weak side corner fill, and so you work that bottom part of the 1-3-1, and then do a screen against the zone, and that really works.
9-6 is the score. Karandang trying to tie things up. Shot is long. Bralmeca gets the rebound.
Tsaka Javi, kung halimbawa kailangan gusto ng Bulacan to keep Karandang, he's gonna have to work on his shots from the outside. He is pretty much a good shooter from that area, and so he's just got to work on some of his percentages and I guess volume shots na din.
Caspe swishes that one through.
Tsaka sobrang komportable ni Caspe maglaro ngayon. For the most part, medyo wing ang nilalaro niyan dati, no? But now he's, relegated into the point guard spot, which I feel he's doing so well.
Because of his height, coach, that enables him to play multiple positions right now. Para sa Tamaraos, that's a good find coming from Jason Celis. Feeding Pastrana underneath.
Malinaw yun. Miscommunication yun between Ariar and Reyes. Who's gonna cover who?
Pastrana now with 3 points in the game, but the Kuya is still down by 4 points. Caspe gets the high ball screen from Lester Reyes. Could it hit him on the roll? Mecca from downtown. That specialty of the house para kay Brian Mecca.
And I guess the experience that Brian brings to this Mindoro team, especially at that guard spot. Dami nang nilaro niyan dito na makikita mo talagang very quality wing guy. Itong si Brian.
Kuya's down by 7 points. Exactly 2 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Reyes turns and could not score. Celis now pushing it up for the Kuyas. Osicos offered the screen. Jason did not use it. That's short. There's a push on Pastrana. No, it's going to be against Lester Reyes.
Yeah, Pastrana got sandwiched in that offensive action. As you see this move right here, clear dive inside. Little bit late on the switchy Reyes right there.
That's our play of the game brought to you by Suzuki. Celis drawed Kent Ariar on that switch. There's a timeout para kay Coach JR Kawaling. 1 minute and 39 to go in the first quarter.
Basketball, handa na ba kayo? Makisaya ngayong September 7 sa Zamboanga City para sa 2024 Sikat MPBL All-Star Game. Iba ang sigla at laban sa Zamboanga. Suporta kita kung mga manlalaro MPBL, ang Liga ng Bayan. Basta Zamboanga, sikat.
Excited na nga ang ating founder na si Senator Manny Pacquiao para sa ating All-Star Weekend. Kaya naman magkita-kita po tayo dyan sa September 7 sa Zamboanga. But for now, I have this report for you para dito kay Coach JR Kawaling. He is now 85% sa kanyang triangle. There have been good results this season going against strong contenders. Sabi nga ni Taytay Teodoro, we know na staple sila Taytay Teodoro at sila Rodel Vaigan dito sa Mindoro. 3 seasons with the Tamaraw. Sabi niya, Mika, laking achievement para sa amin ni Rodel na natalo namin ang Pasay, Manila, Quezon at Abra. For guys who have been patiently waiting for good things to happen, here they are appreciating results despite not knowing their future in the playoffs. Happy Coach Mike.
Maraming salamat, Mika. Well, for Coach JR Kawaling, I think he's just really trying to make do with what he has, and it has been such a great success para sa kanya. I know that he still has a vision of what he wants to happen. Sabi nga ni Mika, 85% pa lang naman yung nabubuo nilang sistema dito. But if they do keep these players for the next season, there's going to be so much better.
Yeah, and it's very important for Coach JR to be keeping that vision and at the same time embracing the improvements that they're seeing right now. Because iba yung nilalaro nila on the latest previous games that they've had. Oh, what a shot.
That's a bailout jumper by Kent Ariar, beating the shot clock buzzer for the Mindoro Tamaraos. Under 30 seconds to play here in the first quarter. 17-12 ang ating score. Eric Cabel has stepped into the game for the first time for Coach Buds Reyes. He has been alternating at the point guard spot with Joshua Montero. There's an unsportsmanlike foul called against Pastrana.
Pastrana, yeah. Well, if you're Pastrana, you can get yourself involved like that because right now, yung big stats na pinag-uusapan natin na clearly medyo hirap ang Bulacan, right now, they're training. He's one of the big guys na Coach Buds is actually depending on in that area. Second chance points, it's 7 versus 2. And so you need Pastrana in there alongside Karandang to control the paint and secure rebounds to initiate fast breaks.
And they're the last place team in terms of rebounds. And dalawa na nga lang sila ni Pastrana at ni Franco Viernes who are alternating at that 5 spot there. You see that was the unsportsmanlike foul on AJ Pastrana.
He was setting up that backdoor pick from that corner. I guess for a little curl under action as that ball screen was happening on the strong side of the floor.
JJ Caspe missing on the first free throw. Caspe this season is a 71.3% free throw shooter, averaging 11.7 points per game. Coach JR Kawaling still very much capable of stepping into the playing court as a player. I'd love to see both of them play next season.
Yeah, I think that's a campaign that you've been running.
Yes.
Next season, pwede ba, Coach JR,
Because
pasok na
Coach
kayo?
talagang yan yung mga naabutan ko kasi nung nasa FU Juniors ako. Sila yung seniors team eh.
Right.
And you know, syempre as high school players, we really cheered hard for them whenever we've watched their games.
And syempre, you know, you can't take away the fact that very able players, and even, I guess, even up to now, we'd love to see that here in the MPBL.
Eric Abel could not get that heave from below half court to happen. That's going to mark the end of our first quarter of play. Jason Celis scored 4 straight points para sa Bulacan in the opening minutes, but the ball movement for the Mindoro Tamaraos was superb despite the 1-3-1 zone defense of the Bulacan Cuyas.
Yeah, and it's really been the 3-point makes coming out of that 1-3-1 defense that has, you know, given this lead para dito sa Mindoro. But the Bulacan clearly has improved in their shooting. They're now from earlier about 29%. They're now shooting at 45%.
The lead is 6 for the Tamaraos. 18-12 exactly is the score. This is brought to you by GameX Sports, the official online basketball lending partner of the MPBL. Basta ending GameX. This is our fan of the game, brought to you by Jinky Skin. We welcome you to the second quarter of this game between the Bulacan Cuyas and the Mindoro Tamaraos. This is Javi Palanya, joined by Coach Mike Perez and Ms. Mika Abisamis. We're live from the Olivares College Gym in Parañaque City. The Patriots will be taking on the San Juan Knights right after this game between the Cuyas and the Tamaraos. Osicos, he loves that area of the floor, just short on that try. First quarter field goal story on your screens. Bulacan shooting 5 out of 11, while Mindoro shot 7 out of 20. That's 45% and 35% respectively.
And I'm sure if you're Coach Buds, apart from the made threes nitong Mindoro on that versus that 1-3-1, it's really more of not getting enough attempts in the first quarter. They're what, a -9 in terms of attempts, and so you gotta do a better job of getting volume attempts here in the second quarter.
Jordan Rios has come on here for Coach Jer Kawaling, as well as Claude Camit. And ito si Jetro Sombero. Andre Dada able to get loose from the initial defender. And on the closeout, Jetro Sombero gets the foul.
And here's the thing about Mindoro. You see Brian Meca, Jordan Rios, Jetro, and Reyes, and even Kamit. You know, these are very able perimeter defenders. So if you don't have enough bigs inside, wala kang advantage, diba? And so you gotta exploit that by moving men around and trying to get to the paint where that defense will come in late.
Dada misses on that free throw. 18-13 ng ating tala. Kamit directing traffic here for the Tamaraws. Goes to the other side. Meca will give it back to Claude. Kamit draws the defense. Lester Reyes now doubled. Sombero up top quickly to Rios. Too strong of a bounce pass there to Brian Meca.
And nagmadali doon si Jordan because ang ganda ng movement ng depensa nila Coach Buds. And right now, much as we talk about wala masyadong volume attempts itong Bulacan, nalilimit rin naman ang Bulacan itong Mindoro in certain offensive sets.
Turnover story is 5-4. Lamang dyan ang Mindoro. That's an aggressive drive to the basket.
And Samonte had the right thing in mind. Nakita niya, free yung baseline side. You know, there was no bigs right there. You got to claim it. And get an opportunity for a layup.
Samonte is one of the homegrowns for this Cuyas franchise. He scored 4 points against the Zamboanga Master Sardines, but only played close to 9 minutes in that game. 0 out of 2 para kay Mark Samonte. Coach, talking about this defense for the Cuyas, 1-3-1. Yes, they've been able to stymie the offensive production para sa Mindoro. But how do you make sure that you do indeed finish with a defensive rebound on each possession?
Well, you understand that for the most part, the shot is going to be a long shot. Very few times that we've seen dribble penetrations against the 1-3-1. It's quite difficult to be able to do that. And so the opportunity is to get that ball in the corner, make that defense swing. And so on that late swing, especially on the corners, that's when you take that shot. Now, when you see that shot going up, you have to move men around on where that ball is most probably going to fall. And chances, long rebounds, means guard rebounding. Those guards have to be ready as well to claim those rebounds.
After the stop, they were able to convert it into 3 points. That was courtesy of JC Carandang, and Coach Buds Reyes was really loving it from the sideline, cheering on his players. Here they are with another chance to tie this game, maybe even take the lead. But Osico's trying to go for that deadlock. Thought he was fouled on the jumper.
Yeah, you missed that shot, but you like that you were able to take it. Now you got to go back and defend again. And hopefully when you get the ball, you try to initiate a fast break so you get a quick attempt. Good pass inside.
Kamit goes to Reyes, but Lester fails to capitalize. Coach, what's good about this 1-3-1 is Mindoro is not able to set up that triangle.
Right. They're not able to set up that triangle. They're not able to do dribble penetrations as well.
But here, the dribble penetration was made happen by Samonte, who gives it out to JC Carandang. And they are featured in our play of the game, brought to you by Suzuki.
Yeah, one thing that this 1-3-1 has actually taken away from Mindoro are the paint touches. You know, you don't get to have paint touches, and so those drive-in kicks will not work, unlike this one right here. Well, you see Carandang once again with another attempt, coming off a paint touch.
The Cuyas are down by 2. They've been able to force 2 successive stops in the last couple of possessions. Kamit sees Meca open underneath.
And that's really one of the good ways to try and counter. If it's not the corners, it's the short corner. And you have the weak side guys diving. Right there you saw Bryle and Jordan Rios cutting off the strong side, the weak side wing altogether. But really just couldn't get anything out of it.
Meca, he hit the 3-pointer earlier. This time it doesn't bounce in. Art Aquino gets the offensive rebound and put back.
And so far, this has really slowed down itong Mindoro. This 1-3-1 defense of Bulacan.
Abel against two defenders, kicks it out. Karandang, step to the left. Osicos with a hand in his face. He's missed his last two attempts.
Right. He actually hasn't made a field goal yet in this game. He's 0 out of 4. And so you expect more out of that because Ken, to your point, nakakashoot yan sa perimeter, di ba? It's really deadly from there.
O kahit may bantay coach, talagang kung nandun siya sa spot niya, 8 out of 10 times, it will have a good chance of going in.
Pupukulan at pupukulan ka talaga eh. Right now, Mindoro is not shooting very good from the field because of that defense put up by Mindoro. In the same way, well, hindi rin makashoot naman itong Bulacan, but they're shooting so much better because they have lesser attempts.
Exactly 6 out of 16 field goals for the Cuyas as of the moment. Gamit inside to Kit Ariar. He's been trying to make that pass earlier. It was to Bral Meca. But now Ariar repaying the trust given to him by Claude Gamit.
And that's just about a good paint touch that you see. A little pass on the other end and a little curl under on that weak side post allowed that basket for Mindoro.
A lead is 6 for the Tamaraos. 4 minutes and 58 to go in the first half. The remaining games for the Mindoro Tamaraos are the Valenzuela Classic on September 10 and the Binyan Takjel on September 20. Including this game against the Cuyas, they want to round it out on a 3-game winning streak.
Yeah, and both those teams also have their own, I guess, motives, trying to get into the seeded 8 teams. And that should be a good challenge also for Mindoro.
Mindoro has actually won 4 of their last 5 games, including big victories over Manila and Quezon. I imagine that game against Quezon was in Abra. Sarap ng biyahe mo pa uwi. Actually, the Tamaraos have already won 2 straight, including that last one against Bulacan. So against Muntinlupa, rather.
Right.
So you win this game, and then the last 2 games, you're going to be on a 5-game winning streak to end your season.
That's right. And yun yung improvement na pinag-uusapan natin kanina. And, you know, they're not highly dependent on the veterans anymore, just like what you said earlier. Such a push.
And, you know, they've been able to put in the team of the future.
Right. I agree. This is more of a small ball kind of team for Coach JR. And, you know, positionless, so to speak. Which, to my opinion, is what the triangle offense also is, positionless.
Exactly. And, you know, from a team that you wouldn't even imagine to have a chance to make the playoffs, as JV De La Cruz proves to us that he has chances to shoot from anywhere on the floor.
And JV calmly took that shot, unrattled, very veteran-like for that guy.
He has really shown us the poise and the control, plus the balance in his game, coach, has been superb.
And, you know, picking his spots, pacing himself. He's not extending extra effort early in the game, but when you know that the game's on the line, especially in the final quarters, that's where he starts picking up. Another 3 right here for him.
In the 6 games that he has played, he has emerged as the leading scorer of the Mindoro Tamaraos. Just like that guy, JJ Caspe, silang dalawa ang nangunguna para dito sa Mindoro. De La Cruz is averaging 15.3 points while Caspe is 11.7.
And that's also the 11th offensive rebound para dito sa Mindoro against only 1 for that of Bulacan.
Which has given them those 16 second chance points.
Right.
Mindoro up by 11 right now. after the Kuyas have been able to keep in step. That's been the story for the Kuyas the past few games.
Right.
It's being able to keep in step for the first quarter, maybe even for the whole first half, just like what they did against Zamboanga. But then to sustain it in the next few periods has been a big trouble para sa kanila.
That's right. And, you know, the many times that Bulacan has forced a 24-second violation on Mindoro, this is one of the few times that they actually got a run.
This 3-point shot of the game is brought to you by Extreme One-Stop Shop Appliances.
Yeah.
Look how far out that is coming from J.B. De La Cruz.
And that's a good ploy. I mean, if you can't get paint touches through dribble penetrations, feed off the post and kick it outside will be one good option too.
J.B. De La Cruz is averaging 35.7% from the great beyond this year. He keeps making those threes. I'm going to start calling him J3 De La Cruz.
Could be. I love that slam dagon too.
Yeah. Thank you. Actually, yung slam dagon na yun is a suggestion that was made by Quezon management, particularly one of their managers, Jaggy Gregorio, isang kapatid ng ating colleague na si Coach Juanito Gregorio.
That rings a bell. Ganda no, slam dagon.
Yeah. Naalala ko lang, buti na lang nagamit nung last game against Nueva Ecija nung Saturday.
Tsaka grabe naman kasi yung dunk na yun.
Grabe naman talaga.
Iba naman talaga.
Unfortunate though that they incurred the loss against the Rice Vanguard sa laro na yon. There's going to be a timeout. Under 2 minutes to play in this game. 10 points is the lead for the Tamaraos. Earlier we saw a scoring clinic, actually a dunk clinic by the Pampanga Giant Lanterns, who was able to set the second highest total in a game by any team at 143 points over the Bacolod City of Smiles. There were about 10 dunks,
right,
in that game.
Roughly about 10. Right.
Well, if you want to see more dunks, we invite you to our All-Star Day at the Mayor Vitaliano Agan Coliseum in Zamboanga City on September 7th. That will also feature our 3-point shootout, our executive All-Star game, and of course, the showdown between the North and South All-Stars.
Well, that's going to be really exciting, let alone that being in Zamboanga. Well, some of us could only say sana all. That's going to be very exciting All-Star game.
Myself, Sidel Tupas, Mix Gomez, Mika Abisamis, and Andre Andisho will all be there to cover that very exciting annual showcase of the brightest stars of the league. As a hacking foul against Keno Sicos.
I still say Sidel Tupas, Migs, and you should take part in that executives game. We'll have to see you make a run there.
Actually, matagal na nga raw ini-invite si Boss Sidelf na maglaro dyan sa Executive All-Star game. Di lang talaga niya ina-oblige yung invitation. Baka daw kasi ma-recruit siya.
Oo nga, no?
Mahirap
baka may kumuhang team.
Baka may kumuhang team.
Baka may kumuhang team. Wala na tayong bossing dito. JR's gonna be playing in the executives.
We'll have to confirm that, Coach. I actually don't have the list yet of the executive all-stars. Titingnan natin mamaya.
But that lineup's gonna be interesting.
But if he will, oh my goodness, that's gonna be very exciting. Actually, every year naman maganda pa rin ng naging kalalabasan ng executive all-star game.
Yeah.
Siyempre, makikita rin natin dyan ng ating CEO and founder, Senator Manny Pacquiao.
And I assume Boss Kaiser is going to be there playing.
Yes.
He's not going to miss that.
Yes, he will play. Actually, we were talking about it, I think just a couple of days ago or just yesterday. Nag-message sa akin kung pupunta ba siya ng Zamboanga. Sabi niya, oo, pag pupunta siya at maglalaro siya. There's a hard hit to the face there by Osicos to That's JJ Caspe.
That was
Art Aquino.
Is it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Art Aquino. Kasi kakapasok pa lamang ulit ni JJ Caspe.
That was inadvertent though. Medyo na late yung depensa eh.
There's no unsportsmanlike foul that's going to be called. It's just going to be a baseline throw in here for the Tamaraos. Sombero trying to carve out some space. Gets it over Joshua Montero.
Yeah. And these guys right now on Mindoro are very comfortable too playing on the post. No? Jordan Rios, or what else? Caspe could even do that. And so it gives a lot of different variation on how you use their talent and skill set on the floor.
Joshua Montero will be taking 2 free throws as Mindoro is already in the penalty free throw story in this game. Bulacan 4 out of 10, make that 5 out of 11 right now, while the Tamaraos are only shooting 1 out of 4 from the charity stripe. And there you see Coach Jens Newtel, the more active one on the Mindoro sideline. Coach J.R. Kawaring happy to be sitting back and letting his former floor general call the shots for this game.
And I like that they're taking turns in doing different roles and responsibility, lalo na latter part of the season, because like what you mentioned, it's building for the future, no, for next season, and you're gonna need those guys to come up and elevate their activity and involvement on the team.
Sarap lang tingnan, Coach, no, na former teammates right now trying to chart out different careers in the coaching hemisphere, still together.
That's right. Yung familiarity tsaka chemistry nandun na no?
Joshua Montero will score on the break.
I still say Joshua Montero is one Bulacan Kuya that I'm really excited to see, break through next season. He now understands that this is his team eventually moving forward. He's got to build on that confidence.
And the foundations were set very strongly para dito kay Joshua Montero, because he started out the season with Paulo Hubalde, who he continues to have a good relationship with. And that's one guy that you really want to emulate if you're Joshua Montero, who is featured here in our fast break of the game, brought to you by SportsMax, powered by PlayMax, the official online entertainment partner of the MPBL. Win to the max.
But I guess equally important is Coach Buds is a very capable and a very willing mentor to a growing Josh Montero, and she's got to take advantage of that as well.
Eric Habel to beat the buzzer. There's still 3 seconds here. Kamit will heave. That's way off the mark. And that's going to do it for our first half of play. Jens Newtel tapping his players on the back for at least an impressive comeback in the second quarter to have the lead going into our halftime break. The score is 29-20. This is brought to you by GameX Sports, the official online basketball lending partner of the MPBL. Basta ending, GameX.
The stars have aligned, and now we are dead set for our MPBL All-Star Game.
Are you ready for more? Pacquiao finally knocks down the 10th All-Star Executive.
The man you have all been waiting for. How many times have we seen that, and it still doesn't get tiring to watch? A love to himself. For the tie! Oh no! No!
That is it. 3-point shootout champion, Orlan Wamar.
The crown will belong to the guy from the Pampanga Giant Lanterns. Our champion is CJ Ganya. Boy Yaktub from downtown and leaner, yes sir. The run, Serrano on the move, Serrano all the way.
Oh my goodness, there we go. That's our first dunk of the game.
MPBL All-Star Game winner, the North All-Stars.
Mga kabasketball, handa na ba kayo? Makisaya ngayong September 7 sa Zamboanga City para sa 2024 Sikat MPBL All-Star Game. Iba ang sigla at laban ng Zamboanga. Suporta kita kung mga manlalaro MPBL, ang Liga ng Bayan. Basta Zamboanga, sikat.
Halftime between the Mindoro Tamaraos and the Bulacan Cuyas, with the Tamaraos leading by 9, 29-20. The Cuyas were off to a good start, but Tamaraos came on and turned things around, especially in that second quarter where they were able to limit Bulacan to just 8 points, scoring 11 of their own.
Well, one thing that hasn't changed from the first quarter to the second is the advantage in terms of field goal attempts that Bulacan has been giving itong Mindoro. It's a plus 15 still in favor of Mindoro, aside from the fact they're shooting better at 34%. When you look at the offensive, the rebounds is a plus 17 in favor of Mindoro, primarily because they have 10 more offensive rebounds para dito sa Mindoro, and the second chance points, that plus 14 difference and the plus 6 inside points really spells the difference, all in favor of that of Mindoro. So you got to do a better job on closing out defensively with defensive rebounds.
We talked about how that 1-3-1 zone has been able to stymie the offensive production of the Mindoro Tamaraos, but for the Cuyas, it's been on the boards, finishing those possessions with defensive rebounds. That has been the problem, as you pointed out in our halftime statistics. Leading scorers for the Cuyas are Celis, Montero, Dada, and Karandang. But, you know, you expect more, especially from Jason Celis, if Bulacan is to have a chance to get back into this game and make it much more competitive. On the other side, Caspe, De La Cruz, Huerto, and Ariar lead the way for the Mindoro Tamaraos.
Yeah, and so they're really good when in terms of points of turnovers into Bulacan. Roughly, they're getting about 15 points per game. But they gotta close out their defense with the rebound that we discussed earlier, because otherwise, you know, mahirapan sila if they keep generating more attempts itong Mindoro.
De La Cruz, lock and load, could not score. Celis joined by Osicos, Karandang, Montero, Habel to start this third quarter para sa Bulacan Cuyas. Engineer Ken Osicos starting off this third quarter well with that basket and one opportunity.
Well, it was a good sneak from behind rebound nito ni Ken Osicos. Timed it well. 3 blue shirts tried to contest that shot, but eventually he was able to make it. That I think is the first field goal, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's what he's 1 out of 5 from the field right now.
Osicos was scoreless in the first 2 quarters. Good way for him to start the rhythm here in the second half. Caspe, De La Cruz, Sombero, Marquez, and the first entry of Ken Bono here in the third quarter for the Mindoro Tamaraos. The former UAAP MVP out of Adamson University scores on his first attempt.
Now, here's the danger for Bulacan. If you have Ken Bono inside the floor, he's actually a really good guy to be put on that short corner, because he's got good perimeter jumper from there. And maganda rin ang vision ni Ken in terms of assists. So you got to be mindful of where Ken is, especially on that short corner.
And there you see his first shot. Mindoro has shown great ball movement in this game. That has been a staple in their past matches, especially on this 2-game winning streak that they are now on. They are hoping to finish the season on a 5-game winning streak.
At saka ganun talaga ang mangyayari. Force kang puntahan si Ken Bono in that short corner because you have to respect his shot-making ability from that area.
Celis unable to connect from the left corner pocket. Marquez flashes near the left elbow. Habel contested that beautifully. Got that clean block on the taller Balong Marquez. 12 seconds on the shot clock for the Tamaraws. De La Cruz very comfortable from that range, but Bono able to get the offensive rebound. That's 4 straight points in a hurry para kay Ken Bono. Celis taking advantage of the Mindoro defense that was non-existent on that last attempt.
Really just Bulacan trying to take advantage of the late defensive coverage para dito sa Mindoro. But speaking of Ken Bono, Ken playing with these very athletic guys who can actually shoot from the outside and really get good rebounds. As you see another shot right there by JV. Makes the game so much easier for Ken.
JV De La Cruz continuing his stellar play in this game as he has always been in this past few games para dito sa Mindoro Tamaraws. Just a thing of beauty for him to be going for these pull-up jumpers.
Yeah. Perimeter-wise, he's very efficient. Right now, he's 2 out of 3 from that area. It's the threes that he's got to work on if he wants to spread that defense even further against him.
On the other side, the Kuya is able to draw a foul against Jetro Sumbero. Ken Osicos very aggressive here to start our third quarter.
And right now you see those 4 guys, the young guns of Coach J.R. Kawaling, talking there and trying to communicate in terms of defensive rebounding. Because that's the second time, to my recall, that has happened here in the third quarter. And you didn't see so much of that because they only had, 2 offensive rebounds in the entire first half. And right now they already have 2 to start the third.
This free throw brought to you by Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kompletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas. Osicos gets that one to bounce in. It's 35-26. More than 2 minutes gone by here in the third quarter. Caspe, back to Marquez. Bono will put the ball on the deck. Step back jumper. That's no good. Andre Dada almost got that rebound. Fell right out of his hands. And Jetro Sumbero makes the rock turn to gold.
And that's exactly what we were talking about earlier. Once you see that shot coming, there's got to be guys relocating for the rebound right there. Dalawa ang nakita mo doon. That was JJ as well as Sombrero getting in there.
Sombrero completes the 3-point play para sa Mindoro. Lead now at 12. This equals the biggest lead of the game for the Tamaraws. Celis all alone. Might have hurried that shot. Overshoots the mark. Caspe. I don't know who he was looking at.
Well, maybe he was trying to lead JV De La Cruz to that open spot on the floor. Medyo miscom lang between the two.
But De La Cruz was actually already open on that left wing. I thought he saw a ghost. Celis getting a great bounce pass from Ken Osicos.
Well, one thing that the Kuyas have done actually so far in these baskets that they've done, they're really attacking the defense of Ken Bono. Every time that he's in there, he's the primary guy. They try to get him involved and then feed off the next guy that's coming.
Here Bono goes down on defense. Karangdang opts for the 3-point shot, which proves to be a good decision. At 6 points in the game para kay JC Karangdang. First basket of the second half.
And I've always said that Karandang has that range from the outside. He's got a good release, good mechanics to his shot.
Good intention, just poor execution. Excellent defense by De La Cruz. Tried to get it to Caspe. They save it. Are going to reset this one. Still a lot of time on their shot clock. De La Cruz left wide open. You don't do that against the former Pasay Voyager.
And JV, you know, if there's one area that he wanted to improve in this game, that's three-point shot making. And so far, that three-point basket does him well. Good pass.
Marquez could not convert on the finger roll. Aside from the scoring coach, you also have to be impressed with the vision nito ni JV De La Cruz. Celis aggressively going to the rack. And you're seeing a mini duel now unfolding between Jason Celis and JV De La Cruz.
Yeah, and getting outnumbered, that really has been the story so far. Luna on the offensive side of the floor in the open. You see here a little in and out, and that strong finish.
Jason Celis continuing to lead the way for the Bulacan Cuyas in this game. They're only down by single digits right now after Mindoro opened up and tied their biggest lead of the game here in the third quarter. Check out our fan of the game brought to you by Jinky Skin. I do believe that's the better half of Parañaque's Alec Ilorde. Of course, the Parañaque Patriots will be seeing action later on against the San Juan Knights as they defend their home floor for the 8th time this year. JV De La Cruz against the Muntinlupa Cagers had 22 points, 14 of which came in the second half. He conspired with JJ Caspe on that big second half run to turn things around for them against the Muntinlupa Cagers. More on JV De La Cruz from Ms. Mika Besames.
I talked to JV De La Cruz about this growing tandem of his with JJ Caspe, as you mentioned, Javi. Sabi niya, sa practice kasi grabe kami mag-usap. Tapos nagki-carry over pa to hanggang after practice through milk tea. Sa milk tea shop daw ni Jordan Rios. Besides this, laking bagay daw sa backcourt na may Rudy Linganay and Tay Tay Todoro sa team. Sabi niya, kay Kuya Rudy, gusto ko na magaling siya mamasa. Kay Kuya Tay naman, obviously, ang shooting niya. He wants to eventually learn the works of a pure point guard. Have you, Coach Mike?
Thank you for that report, Mika. Wow, such a win-win situation. Para naman din sa Mindoro Tamaraos. You have Caspe and De La Cruz, your future, really spending a lot of time together, talking in practice. Tapos pumunta pa kayo dun sa milk tea shop ng inyong teammate na si Jordan Rios. And then, of course, learning from the veterans, Rudy Linganay and Tay Tay Teodoro. That's really something that we should watch out for in the coming years as these two players check in into stardom dito sa liga ng bawat Pilipino. A potential star also in the league is JC Carandang para sa Bulacan Cuyas.
That is right. And again, showing us the range. At isa pa sa mga win-win doon, alam mo, si Jordan Rios, may business.
Ayun na nga, Coach. Yun na nga yung gusto ko sabihin doon.
That's a good one. And again, a really good set of guards. But speaking of guards, how about this run here by Bulacan Cuyas? Especially here mid of the third quarter, they are actually making a good account of themselves.
You mentioned this is the biggest scoring run that they've had in this game. Let's take a look at this three-point shot of JC Carandang. It's brought to you by Extreme One-Stop Shop Appliances, stepping in and knocking down that from the outside. JC Carandang, that's his third three-pointer of this match.
Yeah, and more than that attempt gap now down to only 10 from earlier 15 at the half. It's really better shooting now para dito sa Bulacan Cuyas. They're shooting 36% coming out of a 29% field goal shooting at the half. And so you have to appreciate that if you're Bulacan Cuyas, and you have to start building on that.
De La Cruz gets it to Bono, who goes to Kamit. They swing it back to JV. Couple of dribbles, fall away jumper. Another pretty looking J that just resulted in a miss, but Brian Mecca is there to save the day.
Might I say, Mindoro has very capable offensive rebounding guards. Sombrero, JV De La Cruz, JV Caspe. You see that drive right there by Dada, Jordan Rios. If you beat these guys inside at the same time, it's no surprise that you're getting more offensive rebounds.
43-40 is the count. Kamit will try to extend that to 6. He misses. Bulacan once again looking to run here.
Tama yan.
Osicos was ahead of the back. That ball was tapped Was it tapped? It is going to stay with Bulacan. It was tapped by the Mindoro defense.
If there's one knock on the stat of Mindoro, it's fast break points. They're averaging normally about just 10 fast break points per game. Now, they haven't scored any fast break yet. When we talk about Mindoro, it's a 15-0 advantage, all in the side of Bulacan Cuyas.
De La Cruz leaned into his defender to make some space, going for that fall away jumper. What about JV De La Cruz? You know, Coach, this is a guy who was able to play for the San Miguel Beermen during the PBA's on-tour special. I think last year.
Last year, yeah.
When they allowed players who weren't part of the league yet to sign with teams for that stretch of games. JV De La Cruz was under the wing of Jericho Cruz. And that really increased his confidence. And that's why here with Mindoro, iba yung linalaro niya compared to his stint with Pasay before.
Yeah, and you know, it's always been about getting more learnings, getting those experiences, getting that floor time. That gives you the experience. How about Dada here with that 3? In and out.
And that almost went down para sa kanya. That could have tied the game. Mark Samonte set to check in on the next dead ball for Bulacan. Kamet spinaroo off the glass, no good. Pastrana beats Bono to the board. Celis behind the back, no look. Osicos with the finish.
Now, clearly, this is a Bulacan Cuyas quarter right now. They're playing more team ball as opposed to how Mindoro's been playing. 3 right here by Ken. And you can't leave the big man free like that. You know he's going to hit a 3.
7 points all in the third quarter for Ken Bono. Saw no action in the first 2 periods. But he has kept Mindoro afloat here in the third quarter, especially with the run that Bulacan has embarked on.
Yeah, and that's very important to have your veteran to help out in the response on this mini run here by Bulacan Cuyas here in the third quarter.
48-44, 1 minute and 44 to go in the third quarter. This is our fast break of the game, brought to you by SportsMax, powered by PlayMax, the official online entertainment partner of the MPBL. Win to the max. Celis finding Ken Osicos on the break. Lovely pass for an even lovelier finish para kay Engineer Ken Osicos.
And currently, Bulacan out assisting Mindoro right now in this quarter, 7 versus 4. And you know, yung ball sharing and ball movement ay isa sa mga naging key impact para dito sa Bulacan Cuyas.
Plus the fast break points, Coach.
Yes.
19-2. Celis, another strong drive on the left side, finishing with that right hand. He's been showing us that the right hand scoop on the left side a lot in this game.
And 1, he's been very aggressive. 2, nobody's checking on him. And that lane just continues to be open.
15 puntos na sa laro para kay Jason Celis. And the Cuyas get another stop here. Celis pulling back, waits for the screen. Celis, another basket. That is a 3-pointer for the former JRU heavy bomber.
Celis right now at 16 on a 7 of 12 shooting. That's pretty good the way he's done here, especially in the third quarter.
Oh, Coach, I believe that's 18 points already.
18 points, right. 18.
Para kay Jason Celis. Check this move. Galing sa kanya. Waits for the screen there from Pastrana. Knows that he had some space. Made his defender pay by going under on that 2-man action.
In the first half, he was 2 out of 3. Now, he's 7 out of 12. That's a huge percentage improvement in the third quarter for Celis.
Cuyas are now in the league. Clamit to reclaim it para sa Mindoro. Ang ganda na naging sagutan dito ng parehong kupunan as we wind down this third quarter.
Still a +4 advantage in terms of 3-point makes para dito sa Mindoro. Well, primarily a lot of that has to do with the first half because of how they're being defended.
About a 5-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Habel, step back jumper is short. Mindoro has pressed the emergency button here by inserting Tate Teodoro. That is a shot from the back. It is still open at 7:04 p.m. here in Parañaque City. What an end to the third quarter for these two squads. But Tate Teodoro proving to be the biggest star in that third quarter run for the Mindoro Tamaraws.
And the Mindoro Tamaraws getting 10 points of their veterans, 7 from Ken Bono in the third quarter, and Tate Teodoro with this 3 right here. You said it, banks open.
My goodness, not even on the floor for 40 seconds. Ito si Tate Teodoro. It's still, he's able to make a basket. No warm-up needed. Let's check our highlights of the game brought to you by Sip Plus, the official hydration partner of the MPBL. Elevate your hydration.
Well, Ken Bono coming in, doing immediate impact, but on the other end, you know, Bulacan really just trying to exploit defense of Ken Bono, trying to attack it. But JV De La Cruz really opened things up in the third quarter. There was a little run being done by Bulacan Cuyas, primarily of turnovers, assists, guys getting into the open floor and finishing. And Celis been a pretty good quarter for that guy.
7 points for Ken Bono in that third quarter. 7 points for JV De La Cruz. And of course, that booming 3 galing kay Tate Teodoro, as well as 6 points galing kay Claude Camit, which helped Mindoro reclaim the lead 54-49. This is brought to you by GameX Sports, the official online basketball lending partner of the MPBL. Basta ending GameX. Back here inside the Olivares College Gym in Parañaque City. Welcome to the fourth quarter of this game between the Bulacan Cuyas and the Mindoro Tamaraws. We're being treated to a heated scoring exchange here in the second half after a low scoring output for these two teams in the first two quarters. JJ Caspe continuing the hot shooting for the Tamaraws from beyond the arc. That's three-pointer number 9 para sa kanilang kupunan. Let's check out the quarter scoring here, Coach.
Well, clearly, yung laking improvement ng production coming out of an 8-point quarter in the second para dito sa Cuyas. That 29-point outburst in the third really told on them. But more importantly, it's yung kumpiyansa na nakukuha ng team, especially with Celis leading in the point production.
The lob inside to Art Aquino. He was bottled up by the defense, forcing him to fall down. Montero leaves it for Habel, who finishes with a lefty.
Now, this is more like Coach Bud's style of basketball right here. Predicated on defense and sharing that ball to open guys.
Sharing the basketball is definitely Coach Buds Reyes' style. Definitely so much different from that of his son, Mr. Mikey Reyes.
Well, but Mikey's pretty much very skilled, you know. He's got to find his way to score. But, you know, this open guy sharing of the ball para dito sa Bulacan Cuyas, that's been the special thing in the second half, if you ask me.
No, but, you know, jokes aside, Mikey Reyes still was able to make a good career here in the MPBL. Of course, one of the few players who was able to notch a triple-double during his stint here sa Liga ng Bawat Pilipino. It's Kit Aryar scoring underneath of the offensive rebound. That has been a strength that the Tamaraws has been able to tap in this game against the much smaller Cuyas.
And that's one guy we haven't seen so much in the third quarter, Kent Aryar. Good thing he's back right now and a little more defensive oriented, I guess, itong combination na to para sa Mindoro. Aquino, JV, Caspe as well, and Aryar together with Reyes.
Anim ang inahabol dito ng Cuyas. Almost 2 minutes gone by here in the fourth quarter. So much action already happening. Ken Osicos, baseline J. At short, that jumper hasn't been really available for him sa ating laro, Coach.
Oh, hindi consistent, spotty times that he makes him, but wow.
That has been consistent in this game. JV De La Cruz now with 14 points in the game, mostly on jumpers from the perimeter and from the outside.
Yeah, and more than the basket, yung kumpiyansa ng pagtira, understanding that I've got that skill set and I've got that confidence to make those shots. And with the efficiencies going down right now, at least to start the fourth quarter, this is something that Coach Bud's team would need to arrest. You got to be more efficient, get back on defense, and go back to how they performed the third quarter.
Coach Mike, in the 6 games that JV De La Cruz has played, as JJ Caspe knocks down another one from way downtown. I'll go back to that story on JV De La Cruz in just a while, but let's watch this again. Another pass coming from JV to JJ. Those two working once again beautifully para sa Mindoro Tamaraws.
And that J&J Corporation has really done good para dito sa Mindoro right here in the fourth quarter.
The score is 64-53. 7 minutes and change remaining in this game. JJ Caspe was one of those two guys who really sparked that run para sa Mindoro against the Muntinlupa Cagers, scoring a career-high 26 points, including 12 rebounds and 5 assists. He made a living from the free throw line in that game.
Yeah, and he's just a guy that keeps attacking that rack.
Let's take a look at our MPBL leadership on the sidelines, headed by our beloved commissioner, Captain Marbel Kenneth Duremdes, who is wearing that beautifully made All-Star Game jacket that we are going to have on September 7th in Zamboanga City. Abangan nyo yan, mga kaliga. Of course, the North versus South All-Star Game, our Executive All-Star Game, our Slam Dunk competition, and our 3-point shootout. The brightest stars of the league will be on full display. The Kuyas getting a knockout play on that last baseline inbound. Ken Osicos, his jumpers haven't really been falling in this game, Coach, but his inside scoring has been something that he has been getting points from.
Well, but you see there on the foreground, you see the happiness of Coach Bud Reyes after that completed baseline out of bounds play, and after making that basket, he points to the scoreboard and says, "We're still in it," and so you guys gotta keep on fighting, and which is exactly how he wants these Bulacan Kuya guys on the floor to respond. Siko's got that ball back.
Akuyas with a chance here to trim into this gap. Jason Celis with a booming three-pointer from the right wing.
And boy, when you talk about Celis, his shooting is pretty wild right now. He's 9 of 14, shooting 60+%.
21 points in the game para kay Jason Celis. You just saw the three-point field goal story on your screens. Oh, the getaway there from Van Peña, failing to capitalize. Celis showing us the moves.
What a move.
And the basket para kay Jason Celis.
What a move. You saw that coming. The minute he stopped, a little hessy on the elbow side, tried to dribble, penetrate, going middle. Look at that. Elbow, in and out, behind the back, going back, little floater. What a shot.
That's a shot that he has been trying to perfect his entire career. Ito si Jason Celis, who now has 23 points on a very efficient 10 out of 15 shooting in this game. He also has 4 rebounds and 3 assists. But Coach, I've noticed in this game, he's moving very differently. Mas swabe yung mga galaw niya, and very more confident in how he's been dribbling that basketball. Van Peña, though, answering the call for Mindoro with that 3-point shot. Karandang to answer. Wala. Osicos grabs it from the sky, puts it back in.
A pretty good basketball we're seeing between these two teams. And you got to tip your hats off to both these coaches and teams, really showing us how it is to compete.
67-63. The Kuyas are sticking with that zone. That's way off from Caspe. He missed everything. JV De La Cruz, that was partially blocked. Karandang got to it. Tap went to Jason Celis, threading that sideline. That's a foul on Van Peña.
And, you really try and take advantage out in the open. If you got that advantage, you have that spot that you see, you got to chase that. And right there, late yung depensa ni Peña.
Approaching the halfway point of our last quarter. It's an exciting showdown here between the Cuyas and the Tamaraos. Osicos once again going up hard. He was fouled there by Jetro Sumbero. He does recognize that it's inside where he has more opportunity to score the basketball.
That is right. It's the assists actually that significantly improved para dito sa Bulacan Cuyas. They had 8 at the half. And right now they have 21, 22. And so that clearly is what's been the change aside from the baskets that they've made. These shots that they're making really not ISO. This is more of ball and man movement.
The Cuyas are now 9 out of 18 from the free throw line, while Mindoro is 2 out of 6. Osicos scoring all of his 11 points here in the second half. That will trickle in para kay Engineer Ken Osicos. The Cuyas now down by just a bucket, 67-65. Caspe will once again resume point guard duties here para sa Mindoro. Ariar to JV De La Cruz. De La Cruz floats it up and in.
And that left side of the floor has been the point of attack for JV. Every time that ball gets swung from the strong side to the weak, him being on the weak side of the floor, he just keeps on catching and attacking.
Jason Celis, the hot hand in this game for the Bulacan Cuyas. Again, an array of moves. One dribble, pulls up, voila. De La Cruz opting to slow things down here para sa Mindoro. They do not want to rush things.
And one thing that's improved also is that they're consciously attacking offensive rebounds now itong Bulacan Cuyas.
De La Cruz on the left corner. Carandang is right there with him. Abel switches out on him. Ariar, quick release, wala. Carandang able to collar that basketball. Jason Celis gets by multiple defenders. I thought he had a basket there, Coach.
Yeah, I thought he had a pass on Dada on the corner. Dada was ready to catch and shoot. But he was thinking more of that big curl underneath.
Mas ganda nga naman ang linalaro ni Ken Osicos sa loob.
Oo.
Talagang hahanapin mo kung ikaw si Jason Celis. Abel couldn't lose. Caspe, Osicos, that jumper still not yet connecting para sa kanya.
Yeah, he's just making it up with closer range shot attempts. But lahat ng tira niya, very makeable. It's just not going in.
These are shots that he's used to taking and making. Caspe.
Wow.
See Sombero inside for the easy deuce.
I believe that's the second time we've seen that today. Where a failure to switch on to a guy camping in the paint.
Dada spins to his strong side, fails to finish. Loose ball ends up in the hands of JJ Caspe. He now has 6 rebounds in this game to go with his 12 points. There's a foul against the Cuyas. Abel will pick up his third. Watch our play of the game brought to you by Suzuki. JJ Caspe is showing us the vision, finding Jetro Sumbero up close.
And your top 2 rebounding guys right now for Mindoro Tamaraos, it's JV and JJ.
Wow.
7 and 5, 7 and 6 rather, respectively.
Both guards have really done it all for Mindoro. The extra pass to the corner. Mecca, another three-pointer.
And we've talked about quality guys coming off the bench. And Brian Mecca definitely inserted in there to put some order in some spots. And he just happens to be at the right spot. Good screen right there by Sombero to clear up that 3 attempt by Brian Mecca.
This is only Mecca's 5th game of the season. Had to finish some prior commitments before starting this stint with the Mindoro Tamaraos. And here in this game, he's been showing us why the Tamaraos took a chance on him. They are up 74-65.
Mga kabasketball, handa na ba kayo? Makisaya ngayong September 7 sa Zamboanga City para sa 2024 Sikat MPBL All-Star Game. Iba ang sigla at laban ni Zamboanga. Suporta kita kung mga manlalaro MPBL, ang Liga ng Bayan. Basta Zamboanga, sikat.
Mga Kaliga, we do invite you to our All-Star Day, which will be happening on September 7 at the Mayor Vitaliano Agan Coliseum in Zamboanga City, presenting our Suzuki muscular and sporty fans of the game, just like the Avenus, do more and achieve more with the muscular and sporty scooter from Suzuki, the Avenus. Oras na para magmotor. The score is 74-65, 2 minutes and 36 basketball here between the Mindoro Tamaraos and the Bulacan Cuyas. Happy Palanya joined by Coach Mike Perez and Ms. Mika Abisamis at courtside. Who will end out on top here? The Tamaraos trying to secure this victory, but the Cuyas still trying to force a comeback here. Celis, quick trigger. That one's short. Osicos once again inside, scoring on the reverse.
And again, very active offensive boards itong Bulacan Cuyas. They got a couple and they got really good clear shots out of it. Now, Mindoro's not yet out of this. You gotta defend if you're Bulacan Cuyas.
3-possession ball game. We now enter the final 2 minutes, brought to you by GameX Sports, the official online basketball lending partner of the MPBL. Basta ending GameX. Tight pass there to Sombero, stolen by the Cuyas. De La Cruz goes back on defense. Montero puts it up, overshoots the mark. Osicos once again right there. I thought there was contact there. Should have been an end-one opportunity for engineer Ken Osicos.
Well, how about Ken Osicos running the entire length of the floor to try and catch up against that open floor action? You gotta reward and acknowledge the big man on that action.
This is the first time in a while that Bulacan has been engaged in a tight ball game like this. The lob inside intended for Sombero went all the way to the baseline. There was no white shirt that touched that basketball. It's going to go their way. Cuyas basketball. Here was the last play for the Cuyas.
Yeah, and yung rebound niya on offensive, try to create space to your point. Medyo may tamaan ng onti doon, but you gotta let that go. That was a turnover. This is an opportunity for points of turnover, which Bulacan is really good at.
16-5 in terms of turnover sa ating laro. Karandang, out to Montero. Three-pointer, no good. Osicos couldn't get to it. And fatigue setting in here para kay Ken.
That guy's gassed right now.
De La Cruz almost lost it. That's a foul against Joshua Montero. And that means free throws para dito sa Mindoro. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's only the second team foul para sa Bulacan Cuyas. It's Mindoro who's over the limit.
Yeah, it's Mindoro that's over the limit. And so now you got a chance to try and defend.
Should you foul already here, Coach? Should you play the free throw game if you're Bulacan?
I wouldn't yet. I'm going to trust my defense.
I stick to this zone defense that has been their strategy the entire game. Ariar.
Clock's winding.
Looks for a teammate. That's a dangerous pass. Napaganda pa sana, but Caspe could not finish. Montero on the leak out. He has a trailer. That's Jason Celis. That ball slipped away as he went up for the shot. My goodness, that could have trimmed the lead just to a single possession game. And now the Tamaraos will be looking to ice this. 13.8 seconds to go.
Right.
At Bulacan, still not yet in the penalty, so they're going to throw it out from the sideline. And no timeout will be called here by the Tamaraos. Coach Jens Nutel opting to let his squad play this out.
Now you got a foul. That would have swung that ball the other way. They might have gotten an end-one opportunity had they done that correctly. But nagulat rin siguro si Celis that he got that pass back.
Caspe onto Sombero. Tamaraos doing a good job of evading the foul, and there it is on the fourth pass. Celis called for that personal. 3.8 seconds remaining in this game. All Caspe needs to do is sink these free throws.
Well,
sorry, Kint Arial will be our guest at the charity stripe.
Well, Bulacan was in there, and you see Coach Buds, just giving a good laugh at Celis of that missed shot. Pretty good outing for Celis.
This is his best game of the season.
Right. I have to
24 points, 10 out of 18. Imagine that. That's his career high, by the way. Not just a season high, but a career high in the MPBL para kay Jason Celis. That's gonna do it. That's a game between Mindoro and Bulacan. Spirited comeback by the Cuyas in the second half, but the Tamaraos, you know, their veteran experience and the youthful exuberance coming from JJ Caspe and JV De La Cruz. But you love this view, seeing Coach Buds Reyes, Coach Joey Dada, really showing some love to their former players here para sa Mindoro.
Right, and you love that respect that both these teams have for each other, especially for Coach Buds, having coached Mindoro the previous season.
And Tamaraos extending their winning streak to 3 as they get this one over the Bulacan Tuyas, 75-69. Our final score brought to you by GameX Sports, the official online basketball lending partner of the MPBL. Basta ending GameX. Coach, it was such an impressive ball game para sa Bulacan, but the Tamaraos just holding on in the end game. Numerous performances from various players, but here in this game, we went with J3 De La Cruz of the Mindoro Tamaraos, our best player of the game, brought to you by Daily Fantasy. Dito sa Daily Fantasy, hawak mo ang laro.
Yeah, 16 points on 46% field goal shooting, 8 rebounds and 3 assists. He was the key contributor in that third quarter run when they didn't have so much of Caspe and the other guys. He was the one who really rose up.
Let's go courtside to Ms. Mika Besames.
Maraming salamat. Kasama ko ngayon ang Daily Fantasy Best Player of this game. Walang iba kung hindi si JV De La Cruz. JV, sa game na to, sa second half, lalo na nung crucial quarters mo, napakita ang value mo. Pero bukod doon, last 2 games, 22 points ka. Today, you ended with 16 points and 7 rebounds.
Ayun lang, nung second half, medyo nag-adjust kami sa depensa. Then, pinayuhan ako ni Coach JR na tumira ka lang ng tumira, makukuha mo yan, masishot mo yan.
At ang isa pang nakita namin dito sa larong ito, hindi tumigil ang Bulacan hanggang dulo, no? Pero kitang-kita na talaga yung team chemistry nyo. Anong masasabi mo doon?
Yun, hindi kasi namin pwedeng underestimate yung Bulacan kasi gusto rin nilang manalo, makakuha ng panalo. And yun lang, sabi ni Coach JR, hindi naman pwedeng manalo yung Bulacan sa amin. Yun lang.
At yun na nga ang ginawa nyo. JV, meron ka ba mga gustong batiin at pasalamatan?
Unang-una, nagpapasalamat ako kay God. Binigay yung panalo sa amin. Kay Mayor Ina Alegre, salamat sa suporta lagi sa amin, walang sawa. Kay Coach JR, Coach Jens, yung wife ko, si Joanne, yung anak ko na walang sawang sumusuporta. Sa tatay ko, sa pamilya ko, sa mga batang Pasay, thank you.
Maraming salamat. Once again, our Daily Fantasy Best Player of this game is JV De La Cruz. So Daily Fantasy, hawak mo ang laro. Javi and Coach Mike.
Thank you so much, Mika. Congratulations to Mindoro for picking up their 10th win of the season against the Bulacan Cuyas, who slipped to 2-24. Up next, we have our main event, the Parañaque Patriots facing the San Juan Knights. For my partner, Coach Mike Perez, and our courtside reporter, Ms. Mika Besames, this has been Avi Palanya. Keep it locked in here on the Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League, ang liga ng bawat Pilipino.